Hello everyone, I'm here to talk about my V2K traumatic experience. What is V2K or V2K, which is also known as voice to skull? V2K is a technology used to transmit sound directly to the brain, bypassing the ears using pulsating microwaves. The concept is in its patents referred to the RF heating effect. An audio signal is modulated onto a microwave carrier and subsequently perceived as the original sound. In the head of the person illuminated with the microwave radiation, weapons like this are used in covert government torture operations, sometimes referred to as micro-control operations, widespread. Alright, so this is the patent from 1974. Well, I'm here to talk about my story. It started for me when I was 15 years old. Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school. I was going to high school in Inland Empire, and I remember it was like during, I think it was like around the weekend before Memorial Day weekend. It was, no, around the week during Memorial Day weekend. And I remember I started hearing voices out of nowhere, and they're commenting on what I was doing, and I couldn't explain. I think I felt like someone was watching me because they're commenting like how I was walking, and it was out of nowhere, and it was like really potent voices. It was like male voices, so I knew it wasn't my head, but so I had a feeling that someone was watching me. And then like I tried to tell my sister indirectly because it was something that I didn't know how to say. So I used to say indirect terms like, oh, I feel like, that was suck if someone's watching me. I don't know. I used terms like that because I didn't understand. Like I didn't know how to say it. I don't know if she was going to think I'm crazy or whatnot. So I think it happened for like 2 or 3 days. I didn't know what to say, but it wasn't until Friday, during Memorial Day weekend, that it really started. I remember it was Friday, and I was watching Fairly Odd Parents with my family, and all of a sudden I heard the voices, one of the voice say, "Oh, let's see if we can read her mind." And once I heard that, I heard like a switching sound, and then like I quickly visualized something, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" So I started freaking out, and I kind of went upstairs, and when I went upstairs, what I did, I just went upstairs and went to sleep, and I really hoped that it would go away the next morning. And when it didn't go away the next morning, I tried to suffocate myself, but of course that attempt failed. And then from there, yeah, I want to say my dad noticed there was something off with me because I remember he took us to Palm Springs that Saturday because he noticed I was in a bad mood. Like I didn't eat. He thought I was sick, but I didn't eat at all. At all. I remember he even bought like pizza from Round Table, and I didn't eat it. Actually, I ate like only 2 bites. And I didn't eat it. And then for these creeps, I really think they're my neighbors back then, and they're like old, like in their 30s. Yeah, they're old in their 30s. They were losers. They used to stand around and actually like I catcall like high school girls, and then they just stand around. Like I don't know if they're trying to play it off they're in high school, but it was obvious that they were in high school, and they're old, but they were losers. I remember, and I think they lived with like Don Marie O'Connor, or no, Don O'Connor and Marie O'Connor, like across a house across the street from us. Yeah, and then I was like, oh, going back to the story, I later like kind of told my dad, and he knocked on their door, and then the owners of the house weren't there, and then like, oh, the owners, because he knocked for the owner of the house and they weren't there, and then that's that, because I didn't know how, like, yeah, that's that. But I remember we knocked on that house because I was like, I think those were the people. My dad knocked on the door. But going back to yeah, that's part of my story that I kind of jumped around. Yeah, so during that Memorial Day weekend, I started thinking about like really crazy thoughts. It was really crazy. It was just like about rape and molestation. It was out of nowhere. It was not cohesive. It was just crazy, and I can feel myself thinking about something. Like I felt something was unnatural happening because I was like, I feel the anxiety coming, and I couldn't explain it, but I knew. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't explain it to this day because I guess it doesn't quite make sense, but I know it happened. Like I could feel the anxiety happen. Like I knew when I thought something bad, I would jerk because it was so unnatural for me. But I was thinking of these crazy thoughts, were not cohesive. It was just all about weird stuff, and I knew it's not the way I think. Like it was just really really weird, and I still have problems with it today, even though it's not as severe. Why? I don't know why. Honestly, it's just not as severe. I don't know. Is that I'm not as fearful because I was really I don't know if I was like really anxious because if you know someone's like reading your mind, it's first thing that comes is anxiety, and I still have anxiety up to this day, but I don't know if it's as bad as it was when it first began. So I don't know if it's anxiety coupled with that thing because I think it was really weird thoughts, and I don't think like that. It's really I don't know. I can't explain it honestly. So yeah, so that was Memorial Day weekend. I came back on Tuesday came back to school because it was a 3-day weekend. On Tuesday came back to school and and Tuesday came back to school and I wanted I was hoping that I'd get a normal day in school. I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I won't have to deal with it. I remember the first four periods. The first four periods I was kind of normal, I guess. Like I didn't feel like people were I felt like that, but I didn't feel like everyone knew about it. But it wasn't until lunchtime, yeah, and then it wasn't until lunchtime, and I sat down for lunch and everything, and all of a sudden I heard like someone saying, "Oh, like not to the effect, can we read her mind, but let's go see how she's thinking." And it was during lunch, and I felt like, it was just so crazy, and I was thinking about the craziest stuff, and I don't know if it's because with V2S you can actually hear what they're saying, but it felt extremely loud, and I felt like people were laughing at me or like saying, "Oh, she thinks like this, she thinks like that," and then that's all of a sudden on that day they were like, "Oh, she's an act." Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, she's an act," and I'm like, for me, I was like, it was too much going on at the same time. They're like, "Oh, she's an act. The only way she won't be an act if she cracks or something like that." I'm like, I didn't like. For me, I was like, "Oh, there's too much going on," so I didn't even know how to react to that. But there's no possible way for me to be an act or actress or an actor or whatever that means because it was done in real time. Yeah, and like it was done in real time. There's no way it could have been done. Like I'll read it. It says real time mind reading before it becomes aware, or erase thoughts memory, short time memory, induced memories, and synthetic associations. Felt like I was dealing with induced memory, well, kind of, and also synthetic associations because the thoughts that I think were not real. It was like, what the hell? This it didn't make sense to me, and I couldn't control it. It was very, very frustrating for me, and I hate I hate the fact that the first thing they assumed was like, oh, she's an actor. That's not possible. No one wakes up one day and says, oh, I want someone to read my mind. Oh, okay, that makes me an actor. That's ridiculous. I felt like it was those creeps who started that were in their 30s. I felt like they were associated because I feel like they're associated with Norco, and then I think they had like new people that were in high school in Norco, but they're older, and I feel like they came up with the act just to cover up what they're really doing and how wrong they really were. So I feel like one of the first things they did was trying to use character assassination, and by saying I was an actor and actress, they I guess they assassinated my character, and for then people were like, oh, she's just an actor, it doesn't really matter, and for me it was really hard. Like I was having trouble. I was having trouble even thinking straight, like thinking correctly, because I was thinking of some weird things. So it was really hard for me to react. And then I remember I had to go to school for the next 3 weeks, which really sucked. I remember at lunch, I didn't eat outside at lunch because I was really terrified what they're gonna say. And what the really weird part was that since it was V2S and I could hear everything, I could still hear what everyone was saying at lunchroom. But I just felt safer eating inside the classroom than eating outside. I don't know. I just felt safer. I remember I ate in my chemistry teacher's class for the last 3 weeks. Yeah, because I was too terrified to sit outside. And then one of the symptoms is control of thought patterns, feelings, and expressions, behavioral control. Yeah, I had those things are just the craziest stuff. And then I had one other symptoms: dark LMP and gang stalking, street theater, anger feelings, certain words, certain colors, certain types of color, feelings of illusion, hypnotic triggers that results in specific sensations and feelings and behavior. Monitoring attention, both were to look but also what to think and in what pattern terms. Real-time mind reading. This is what I said before. Induced thoughts and memories, and I definitely had induced memories. I felt like induced memories and synthetic associations. I just thought about the craziest things, and it was almost like it was accusational. Like it felt like I was accusing people, but I was like, I don't know, I couldn't control it. It was so weird. Like honestly, to this day, I still can't explain it. It's not nearly as bad, and I can't even explain that. But it's like I still have problems with it, but it's not as bad. Yeah, these are more symptoms. Yeah, induced dreams and manipulation in dreams. I've had that, and then I have loud synthetic telepathy. Sorry. The attackers will talk to some of the victims 24/7. Yeah, these creeps literally do that. They actually still do this up to this day. They talk 24/7. It's like they don't have a life, and they really do it. And then it's funny because a lot of things that were their character, their behavior, they actually just what they were truly, that's the same things that they were lying to say about me. Like they were like, they used to say, oh, she doesn't have a life, but really in actuality they're the ones who don't have a life. They used to say like just really bizarre things about me, and in reality that's who they were. And I feel like a lot of the lies that they came up to say about me to like destroy my character, it was really who they were truly. And then yeah, they came up with the word, like, to say, oh, she's a tweaker or not. But what they knew, and then they didn't want other people to know, is that I didn't think about that. They knew, they definitely knew that thing had tweaked my mind. Because I remember them saying, oh, is she hypnotized? I remember them saying that, because I would freak out about the little things. Like, if I'm not someone that's claustrophobic, and I would freak out if anything, cluster of flowers or anything. If I looked into an empty soda can, I would be in dire fear. Like, I don't know why. I was not as nearly as bad, even though I had experienced something similar recently when I was stressed, like a couple days ago, but it was not nearly as bad. Like, I was in total fear. Like, at night, I didn't, like, I don't know, I was just kept on seeing spots everywhere, because, like, it was like too much light. I don't know, I felt like there was too much light or too much animation in mine. I don't know if it was because of the electromagnetic signal or the frequency, actually, but it was just really bizarre. Like, I was freaking out about the greatest thing. On top of that, I was thinking like crazy. Like, I couldn't control my thoughts or anything. And then I would, like, every single time I thought I was crazy, I would totally jerk. It was just like, it was very, very crazy. And they knew that whatever device had messed with their mind. But they went around saying, oh, she's a tweaker or whatever. She's this and that. But in reality, that thing truly messed with their mind, because they were like, oh, she hypnotized. And then they thought that thing had made me crazy at a point. Like, it was just a lot of things. But they knew what they're doing. You just use that as a way of character assassination. Yeah. Like, when I think about it today, they did a lot of tactics to try to destroy my character, to say, oh, she's okay with it. I remember one of the things, I guess that time in high school was a rumor going around that I was a hoe. So they try to link it, say, oh, if she's a hoe, that means she's an actor, an actress. Which I don't understand the correlation, even though I wasn't even a hoe, but they said there was a correlation between that, and I think that was part of the character assassination. And the problem with that is that I don't have problems with it anymore, but I had a lot of problems with it in college. Like, I was very paranoid. I didn't truly want to get at guys and anything, because I was really paranoid. If they said, oh, if she's like trying to get at someone, then she's a hoe. Then if she's a hoe, then she's an actress. And if she's an actress, then it's okay to read her mind. So I had a lot of problems with that in college. It's not nearly as bad, because I think as I got older, I learned to like be braver, learn to not accept myself, but learn to not be afraid of what other people think about me. And that's why, so like today, I'm more, even though I'm not going to expose my face or my name, I'm still more open to talking about it. And also by seeing all the other, we actually seen all the other vloggers on YouTube explain their experiences, has also helped me talk about it too. Yeah, so this is the end of the first video. On the next video, I'll talk more about these creeps and how they use techniques to try to stop me from going to college and going passing in high school, and how they even try to use these techniques today to try to control me and to stop me from doing what I want to do. Alright, well, that's the end of the my first video, and I'll do part 2 shortly. Thank you. Bye.